Well, hi there, everybody. It is Star Trek Tuesday. It's time for the main viewer. Every Tuesday night, the main viewer is on, and we tell you everything you need to know, everything regarding science fiction news of the week, which just so happens to be just about all Star Trek. So
let's talk about that Mandalorian finale. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And the Babylon 5 announcement.
Oh, that's a fun one. So there's a lot to talk about, everybody. This has been a crazy week, just like every week since like 2015, it seems. Real quick, the Cisco Day is just 4 weeks away. The official Cisco Day, that is the first day that he set foot on Deep Space Nine and took over his new life as the Cisco, as the emissary of the prophets, his first step into that new life. And the Cisco Day will be a day of celebrating Captain Sisko and the Sisko family, celebrating Deep Space Nine. And for all of you, and Avery Brooks, of course, for all of you, it's a day of new beginnings. It's taking that first step into that new life, into that new journey. It's going to be a great time, and that is May 22nd. Also, there's a little bit of news. The Star Trek Picard group, there's a little bit of news from there. And the seventh rule, there's a tiny bit of news from the seventh rule as well. Everybody stick around for that. Also, you know that the Star Trek Picard season 3 and series finale happened a few days ago. We'll be closing out the book on Star Trek Picard. Muhammad's like, finally.
No, that's not what I was saying. It was so good. I enjoyed that.
It was. And Patrick Stewart has some emotional things to say about that. Will Wheaton's got some things to say about that. Terry Metalis has things to say about that, as well as a Star Trek Legacy update. That's the big question of the day. Is Star Trek Legacy going to happen? We're going to talk about it. By the time we're done discussing it, you will have a concrete answer as to whether it will be happening. Star Trek Legacy, that is.
The answer is Metalis himself.
Also, Picard's Ed Spaliers has something interesting to tell us, that he actually auditioned for a different Star Trek role. He's auditioning for the role of, well, I'm not going to say that just yet. And also, of course, you guys, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which comes out starting June 15th. They're going to have some Klingons. How do you know they're Klingons? Because they're Klingons. And they're going to be there, and you're going to love it. So let's get into
an Aaron Wolke cryptic tweet.
Oh, yes. You can't have Tuesday
very excited about
without Twitter Tuesday. So Aaron Wolke basically, do you remember when a week and a half ago, Walter Koenig was like, I'm trying to think of a way to tell you that I'm in something without telling you that I'm in something.
I'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Where he's just like, stay tuned. That was on Star Trek and Chill a week and a half ago. Go check that out with Walter Koenig. That was a great time. So Aaron Waltke's doing his own version of that on Twitter, saying, I'm trying to tell you that there's something I want to tell you without telling you what the thing is. But just know there's a thing.
There's a thing.
Writer, producer of Star Trek Prodigy, everybody. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Good mention there. Melissa Longo is hanging out with us wearing her favorite baseball shirt.
So far.
You can get that at the link in the description box below. You can have your very own Decor Province Majors with Major Kira, aka Colonel Kira. But why isn't it called the Colonels? Well, because when the baseball team was established, she was a major. Also, everybody knows that baseball players, they go from the minor leagues to the majors.
Yes.
So that's why, don't ask me, ask the Decor Province people.
Yeah. The Cisco had a huge influence on Bajorans, if you didn't know.
Oh, yes. We'll find out about that on the Cisco Day. Dr. Muhammad Noor is here. Don't ask about his day. He had a pretty crazy one. but he's
Within the
also
range.
an occasional science advisor for a franchise called Star Trek.
Hello, always a pleasure to be on the main viewer. And I should highlight my shirt from Walking Art made by Melissa, which is now found on the introvertedrepublic.com. One of my favorite artists' works here. So here you go.
Thank you.
You can also find this one right there as well.
Yeah.
Make it so, Mr. Number. You can do that.
After how good Picard did, it'll be make it dough.
Number Mister.
Yeah.
Engage, Number Mister. Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel is here. Is that the walking exclamation point? Yep.
Yeah. Hi.
That's all she has to say about that.
Yeah, I'm just excited. Me and my sister got matching shirts at Costco. But
Oh my God, are you wearing it right now?
yeah, it's just a black sweatshirt. It's so cute. Their clothes are amazing, by the way. But yeah,
Your sister
All right.
sounds very cool from what you post.
yeah, Rebecca's awesome.
Her whole family is, though, to be honest.
Makes sense. Given Anne-Marie.
Her brother seems real cool too.
All my brothers, they're all amazing.
Wow, you got a lot of family.
Mhm.
All right.
3 brothers.
So we see you all in the live chat. Hello, Chuck A. Rose Kirby, what are you doing still awake?
What?
Thanks for
Oh my
hanging out
gosh.
with us.
That's savage.
We have, do you know my French teacher in high school? I didn't tell her that I spoke French. Her name was Madame Savage. Madame Sauvage.
Wow.
Hello, Glenn Iverson, Linda Anderegg, Andrew, Allison Leach Hyde, David Gregory,
From
Shaggy
Iowa.
840, Faith Howell. We see all of you. Good to see you. BL. Robert Kaiser staying up even later than Rose Kirby out in Derby. Well, first things first, the quick news of the week. Here's just a fun one. So we know the Cisco Day is 4 weeks away. We're going to have a lot more information on that, including special deals on items and websites you can check out, and all the information you're going to want in the coming days and weeks leading up to the Cisco Day on May 20th. Also, check this
Buy
out.
Father's Day presents then.
That's a great idea.
Good idea,
He
actually.
was a great father.
Yeah.
So the 7th rule got a historic high. It's a new record
Yeah.
for the 7th rule. We had our highest viewership of any episode, so we're kind of excited about that. And that total after, what has it been, 4 days, the 4-day total is 241,000 views, talking
That's
to our good
amazing.
buddy Walter Koenig.
That's
So
fair to
that's
call
pretty
that one viral.
Yes.
You're the doctor.
Yeah. Well, she's the medical doctor, so I trust Dr. Anne-Marie on that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Love
true.
sickness.
But I mean, evolution also kind of touches on, it's a thing. It's
Sure.
biological. So that's really cool. Is that considered viral? I thought viral was like 1 million.
What do you
I
think,
don't
Dr.
know.
Anne-Marie?
I mean, I kind of go by the acceleration, the growth of acceleration, or whatever you call it. I would say
And my
that
brother was viral. He
accelerated
got
like crazy.
He was like 6'4" when he was
Was
15.
it R selected or K selected?
Exactly. I didn't see the curve to do the math. Yeah, so
Nerds.
good. Nerds.
Also, a little bit of housekeeping. That was a funny scene in Tommy Boy, the housekeeping scene.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So on a little website called Facebook, the biggest Star Trek Picard group in the world that I admin for is pretty big. It has surpassed a milestone in the last couple of days. 75,000 members
Amazing.
for Star Trek Picard. Look
It's
at
a
that.
serious group.
It is no joking allowed. We ban them if they joke. But that is a great number, 75,000
Yeah.
people for Star Trek Picard.
There's
So
a 7 and a 4 in there too, so you can make the 47 out of those numbers.
Mhm. Perfect.
Ooh.
Which sometimes they do in Star Trek. They'll like reverse the polarity and reverse the 7 and the 4.
There you
All right. So let's see here. Where shall we start now? I guess we should start with
Let's start with-
closing out Picard
Oh.
and opening the door to Legacy.
Okay. I was really excited about Prodigy.
Okay.
I love Prodigy.
let's-
I'm up for that too.
I'm
Prodigy's
just like
awesome.
on a Prodigy high because everybody's posting those cool dioramas they're doing with the Prodigy
my
action
gosh.
figures.
Gross.
And actually, my
Yeah.
next
So-
door
I hate
neighbor,
diorama.
Russell, who lives in the building next to mine in Manhattan, he has all the action figures that were in the episode.
Oh, she
Uh-oh.
froze. I thought she was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought she was like in the episode. Okay. So while she's thinking, we're gonna let you know what we're talking
Wait,
about
no.
here. Oh, we hear you now. What was the episode?
Okay, Kobayashi with like
Oh,
the
Kobayashi.
legacy characters. So he's mixed the action figures on a bridge and made a Kobayashi diorama, which is adorable.
That didn't really
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah, it did. Aaron Wolke retweeted
So
it. I think
cute.
that Hageman
Prove
published
it.
too.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so Aaron Waltke does a quote tweet. He says, "This makes me happy, a recreation of Dal's Kobayashi Maru holo program on Star Trek Prodigy, using new and old action figures shown here with permission from Russell Myers and his
Yeah, my
crew."
next door
Aw.
neighbor.
Look
awesome.
at this. Is it really? Wow. Look
Isn't
at
that
this.
so cute?
That's awesome.
Oh, love that.
Odo's going, humph.
Yeah. These aren't comfortable.
No,
he
he's
just
gazing
say,
at
like-
Uhura. Who can blame him?
Uh-oh.
I think Uhura's like, "Hey guys, if the camera's there, I don't think I want to sit in this chair."
No.
That's what she's saying right now.
Oh.
She's like, "I'm not sure how I feel about this
Good
angle. I'll
call.
go
Good
I'll go sit in communications back yonder."
I sense your
So cute.
apprehension.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it should be Dr. Crusher there, but still really cute.
Maybe she could be up here now
True.
in tactical. So that's really
Love it.
cool. Also another tweet from Aaron Waltke, writer producer of Star Trek Prodigy, by the way.
Great
He's a
guy.
great follow at Good Aaron. That's at Good Aaron. So
This one with the
here,
manifest reference.
yeah, here's the thing that Amory can't contain herself about.
I'm so excited about this. It's so
Now
Yeah.
he says,
That's the one.
now that Star Trek Picard has concluded and we wait out the long Trek winter for more Starfleet, ... This is the perfect time to catch up on Star Trek Prodigy. I can't tell you why yet, but if you haven't seen it, do. Hashtag
Oh,
it's all connected.
That's the
And then he,
manifest
like,
reference.
went
love
on
that.
to in the comments, he like responds to a bunch of people like, make sure you've watched Picard season 3 and stuff like that. And sorry. The other
Okay.
interesting thing that's tied into that is that in Terry Metalis' Collider Screen Rant interview, I can't remember which, where they talk about like if Garrett Wang could have been brought back as captain in Star Trek Picard, he says like no and why, but then he's also like we couldn't step on any Star Trek
Right.
Prodigy toes.
yeah. Yes.
Wow. That
put
is
my
quite a
radar up
thing.
too. I was like,
That's like a really hidden
oh,
little gem.
Okay.
If he's saying we couldn't have Harry Kim back in Picard because they can't step on Prodigy toes, that's
Yeah.
at the very least very strongly hinting
Yeah.
that there is going to be some kind of Harry Kim Sunday in the buffet of Prodigy coming up.
It's the big question: what rank will he be?
Well,
Ensign.
See, if it was lower decks,
Acting
I would
ensign.
bet for ensign. If it was lower decks, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, okay, we're just gonna keep it."
Right, but Prodigy, yeah,
Yeah,
probably
so
might make him a commander.
Yeah.
Well, lieutenant, because it just takes place a little bit
just a little bit after.
Okay, so that's really exciting. And what were people guessing? Melissa, were you saying some people were guessing what may have happened that's connecting Picard and Prodigy.
No, I didn't say that. I was just saying, no, I didn't. I wasn't.
Somebody
going
was
there.
surmising that possibly in Star Trek Picard, when Worf, when they say, what happened to the Enterprise E, and Worf goes, "That was not my fault," or whatever it was, or was it no? It was the F? Was it the F?
It was the E.
I thought the E was well. Anyway,
I think
yeah.
that's-
So when he
was
said
it?
that, somebody was guessing that maybe what that was during the end of Prodigy, when all of those ships were blowing up.
Yeah,
cool.
that was
That maybe one of those ships was the Enterprise E with Captain Worf.
right. Wasn't that Chuck? Was that Chuck? Who said
Chuck
that?
A will let us know.
Maybe.
But
I can't remember, but we just heard it.
that's a great
There were
theory.
a couple of people
Mm.
thinking maybe because we didn't really get an end to the changeling story because Vadic isn't the only changeling. So I
Right.
also saw a couple people in the comments of that tweet wondering if it kind of ends abruptly because it's touched on more in Prodigy, and there weren't really confirmations or denials from Star Trek people. So
Oh, it was DJ Kitty Cat. Yes, that's who it was.
Because
Ooh, Matt.
Go
Just
ahead.
real quick in the live chat, Matt Boardman says another thing that Aaron Waltke mentioned. He says, "Did anyone else see that Aaron also said that he, quote, likes a good rechristening?"
Oh,
So that might be a ship reference, right?
The
Maybe that's
Voyager?
bringing the E back. Maybe the
Or a baby
Voyager.
being
or
baby being
Janeway and
dunked.
Chakotay had a baby.
Baby. Yeah, maybe Chakotay and Seven had a baby. Yeah,
Wow.
but what were you going to say, Mohammed?
Oh yeah, in terms of time frame, Picard is like 30 years or so after Prodigy, right? I'm just trying to remember the exact time frame.
I think 20.
Okay.
Well, I think Picard is 20 years after Nemesis, I think,
Okay.
or so, like 2380 and then 2399 or 2379, 2399. And I think Prodigy takes place maybe like 5 years after Nemesis. So maybe it's 15 years before.
Okay.
But my math is,
All right, but ballpark. Okay.
yeah, I remember it being something like that. All the smart people in the live chat, please let us know what these numbers are. I feel like 2379 was kind of like the end of the 90s Star Trek.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
then
It seems like it's
2399 was when
83.
Picard.
I think it was like 83 or
Here's
84
the
for
thing.
Prodigy.
I only
so that did
memorize
make
the
sense.
number when I'm
Okay.
going to trivia.
Then I think, it's like 5
So
years
15,
after.
15 years earlier. Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more tweet that I forgot to send you, and then we can be done with tweets. But it's a funny one, and I sent it to your Facebook Messenger. Speaking of somebody said I had TOS hair. I was like, this reminds me. I love it, which is the best compliment. There's a hilarious tweet where whatever. You don't need me to explain it once you pull it up. I don't want to ruin the
Let's
punchline.
see what is going on here. Let's pull it up. Okay, so I'm not reading this ahead of time. I'm not vetting
Okay.
this, everybody.
Okay,
So
we
you're
are.
gonna find out
Uh-oh.
what it is at the same time as I am. So someone named you retweeted Marsh, Gene, Succession, spoilers. Succession? What? Genuinely thought this was a Star Trek TOS scene. 90s Kylie RuPaul, Bjork, and Kylie Minogue at the Brit Award. Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh,
because
it
the
totally looks like
colors.
one.
That's so funny.
Wow. They all
Totally
look
love
like
that.
they could
Hair,
be in
yeah.
the original series.
Totally.
And that's the best of Twitter this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'll show you guys one more Twitter thing just since we're finishing
Okay.
up Twitter
Then we'll
Tuesday.
get to real news.
Yeah.
It's just
What?
so
This is real
fun.
news. This is from Terry Metalis. And there might be some story behind this. He says proof of concept. This is for a
Oh yeah.
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
cup holder.
Oh my
bridge.
God.
Yeah.
This was so good. So basically what happened is Andrew Probert, originally back in the day, there were blueprints I'm not sure if it was in the blueprints book, but like design sketches for what these consoles would have. And he like jokingly wanted coffee holders. They never did it. So it was like a tribute / joke. They added it here because they had nothing else to add for this console. Then Aaron Wolke in the comments on Mike Okuda's post on Facebook, he was giving headcanon with like gravitation, like inertial dampeners or like I guess it would be inertial accelerators, but like and like extra gravitation and magnetic poles to keep the coffee like in place and warm.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought was so adorable. So
That's very funny.
yeah, I saved that.
Okay.
I bookmarked that.
So Kathy D
cute.
in the live chat says Voyager was 2371 to 2378 ish.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
right,
we're right.
give or take 1 or 2 years on all these. Okay. Thanks everybody.
It's basically a 15-year
Okay, so my
difference.
headcanon is you put that like magnetic pill looking thing that you use in the lab inside the cup and it like spins around to warm things. You know how it warms
Oh, the
things up
stir bar.
in the lab. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
Okay.
that works.
Let's
Actually,
get
nice
into
if it had a
some,
stir bar in it. That way, if you had cocoa, it just keeps it all mixed the whole time. It's just constantly spinning. That'd be
I
great.
know the possibilities are endless with that.
I
Yeah.
added cocoa to my Cheerios today. Fuck it.
But you didn't have a stir bar that kept on spinning it. Have a little
That's what you're
whirlpool of
missing.
Cheerios.
Man, I love those stir bars. They're so fun.
I
They're
don't even
great.
know what that means.
It's literally like a magnetic rod, but it spins on the bottom of something. So you can have like a bottle of something. And it's just constantly the liquid inside. It's just always whirlpooling. Should be great if you have cocoa. It just keeps it all like.
Sounds like my stomach.
You're stirring your cocoa like a peasant.
Like a peasant.
peasant.
Yeah. Get an android to do
Stir
it
bar
for
from the
you.
lab.
Okay, so let's get to the big news of the day, which is the closing of Star Trek Picard and that door opening a crack, or maybe more, for Star Trek Legacy. Dr. Muhammad Noor, can you do a little bit of reading for
Be
us on
happy
this
to.
big news? What a relief. So this is from Variety.com, and it's entitled Patrick Stewart Explains Why Watching the Picard Finale Was So Emotional, teases Star Trek Return.
All right. It says spoiler alerts about the series finale for Picard, so be ready. When Patrick Stewart first met with producers Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsman in 2017 to discuss the possibility of returning to play Jean-Luc Picard again on a new Star Trek series, Stewart famously did so as a courtesy to explain that he had absolutely no interest in revisiting the world of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Gasp. I explained to them all those elements.
Oh, no.
I explained to them all those elements of Next Generation which belong in Next Generation and why I didn't want to go near them again, Stewart told Variety in a January 2020 cover story. When the producers noted that the show could show a much different Picard, one who changed over 2 decades since the events of the final TNG movie, 2002 Star Trek Nemesis, Stewart became intrigued and signed on to do 3 seasons of Star Trek Picard, but without the rest of the TNG cast.
That's where the plot thickens. Basically, they gave him kind of their assurances that they're not going to be doing like a TNG reunion, right?
Right.
So
And
it
I was
continued.
waiting for your commitment, Mohammed, on the accent.
Sorry. I didn't want to offend David from the UK and be like, that is not a British accent at all.
Sorry.
You're good. While a few Trek alumni did pop up on Picard, was referring to seasons 1 and 2, however, it wasn't until season 3 that Stewart was finally convinced that it was time to bring back the full cast of The Next Generation. Jonathan Frakes' Riker, Brent Spiner's Data, LeVar Burton's Geordi, Marina Sirtis's Troy, Michael Dorn's Worf, and, crucially, Gates McFadden's Crusher, Picard's on-again, off-again, unrequited love. Led by executive producer Terry Matalas, season 3 of Picard painstakingly reunites the TNG cast around a story involving Picard and Crusher's adult son, Jack, played by Ed Spaliers. And by the way, who will be at Star Trek Las Vegas. This was just announced today.
As of today, yeah, good knowledge.
Yeah, who was born with a strain of rogue Borg DNA, spoiler alert, his father unwittingly passed down to him. That DNA leads to an all stops out cinematic climax in which the TNG crew is all that stands between the Borg and the total assimilation of Earth, the Federation, and the rest of the galaxy. There's not a lot of faith the rest of the galaxy could fight.
This is a really long article, but if you,
Mhm.
I don't know, do you want to skip down to some of my highlights?
Yeah.
Okay, so the bold that starts with Terry Metalis has talked about. If you scroll down a little bit.
All right,
it's like,
there it is. Terry,
it's the point below. Yeah, here.
okay. Terry Metalis has talked about wanting to do a Star Trek Legacy spin-off series. Ed Spilliers told me he would love to continue playing Jack. And it sounds like you'd be interested in returning as well. Now, this is Patrick Stewart, I'm assuming, replying. Or is it, or who is replying here? Is this, who's actually saying
this is
It's Patrick Stewart.
it is Patrick. Okay, I just want to make sure. Patrick Stewart. Yes. The circumstances, as it was with Picard, would be the important factor in all of that. But certainly, there's a wonderful future for Ed there. I'm sure of it. And if I can occasionally crop up to offer a little bit of comedy myself, then I shall be happy to do that. I love that line. I remember reading that earlier.
Wow.
That's so
He's the
interesting.
comedic relief is Patrick Stewart. So Picard's lack of family and his disinterest in children was there from the very first episode of the series. So what did it mean for you to be able to explore Picard as a father in such a robust way? So as Patrick Stewart replies, I think that the relationship between Dr. Crusher and Picard was what mattered most in this. I read several accounts of parents who only learned that they were parents when the child was quite adult. What it produced in, and Jean-Luc was fury with, I nearly said Gates, with Dr. Crusher, because she had not told him. He had not pursued family life as an essential part of his own life. Nevertheless, when the thing happened, he was cut out of it. He was isolated. I think that was the toughest thing for him to swallow, that there had been 20 odd years of life of his only son, and he had not known about it at all. Those 20 years were the years in which he had wandered through being promoted to an admiral, the desk job he had, retiring, becoming a lecturer and a winemaker. All of these things became irrelevant as he dealt with a critical situation that was building up around the people he cared about so deeply.
So can we just say how sneaky this is that Patrick Stewart is sliding in, oh, I might not be done acting in Star Trek when this was supposed to be the swan song. This is it. Whatever. Somehow, some way, it seems like he's been like converted to where like, well, this was kind of fun. Maybe I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, starting at the New York Comic-Con panel, he was like, I don't know, maybe I like it doesn't have to be the end. And now it's like getting more specific with like he's interested in comedic bits. Yeah, so super fascinating. And then if you scroll down a little more, there was a part I really loved because I do not know Shakespeare that well, and they really highlight. I missed this amazing reference in the scene at Guinan's bar, but it's where it starts with "I love Picard's toast at Guinan's bar" in bold.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at that since it comes so highly recommended.
I mean, what we skipped was like there was a question mark whether they would show like more of a question mark about what would happen with Picard and Crusher next. But he won't say what they changed it from. So.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading that one. So the interviewer says, I love Picard's toast at Guinan's bar at the end when he quotes Brutus's speech from Julius Caesar. How did that come about? I can't recall whose actual idea it was that we should return to Picard and Shakespeare at the very end. But I've been looking at quite a lot of Shakespeare because it's been, along with Star Trek, the most important creative force in my life. And I'd had some ideas about another Shakespeare involvement down the road. I'd been remembering my most recent experiences, particularly, and it was then that, quote, there is a tide in the affairs of men suddenly hit me as being very pertinent to what we were shooting. Do we keep going or stop?
Yeah, one more, please.
Sure. It felt like that was as much Patrick talking to his castmates as it was Picard talking to his crewmates. And Patrick responds, both, yes. It had become that increasingly. All the way through Picard, it had that quality about it. We were communicating again in our fictional world and enjoying it immensely. Being cast back in 1987 was the most significant thing that ever happened to me, professionally anyway, because it changed everything. Having the opportunity to experience something like this and then to repeat it has been beautiful. I want to get together again with them as soon as possible.
See, when I hear things like it changed everything,
Mhm.
and when I hear things like having the opportunity to experience something like this and then repeat it, to be honest, I'm thinking financially. Because when there's an actor who's like a Shakespeare actor who's working his tail off for 20, 25 years, and then he says a certain role changes everything,
Yeah.
what that means is now he's got a completely different life.
Well, but
This
also
is
like
it's a
internationally
completely different
recognized.
lifestyle. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true too. Yeah.
Well, and I think going in, because you know how actors always want to find that new role to make it new, something that challenges them, that challenges that acting muscle. So going in, I can see why he would want, maybe initially say, well, this is going to be my last go of Picard because I've been there, I've done that. But then being in it and playing with all of his old friends again, it may have re-sparked, that something that he left behind, which is kind of awesome. I think it's pretty awesome.
Maybe it'll be
Speaking of
cyclical
which-
and it'll come back now in like new X-Men movies too. Professor
Oh.
Xavier.
Oh, that would be
again.
great.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of which, this article concludes with the questioner saying, finally, that concluding shot of you all playing poker through the credits,
yeah.
was that a real game? Stewart replies, yes, that was a real game. Questioner says, so who won? And he says, I think I won. I mean, we were being so relaxed about it, but it was a real round of cards. Okay.
That's really cool. I love that.
Love that. Love that.
And I love Terry Matalas in the other interviews where he said like that is definitely something that could be a bonus feature on DVDs.
Oh,
love it.
cool.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that in this Screen Rant article here? Star Trek Picard showrunner Terry Matalas discusses the season 3 finale, Star Trek Legacy, and reveals what was cut from Picard's ending. We'll talk about that in just a moment, right after these messages.
Do the speech from Julius Caesar.
We don't have
Friends,
to.
Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar,
not to praise
friends-
him.
friends
Evil that men
remit.
do
Men
lives after
do
the
lives after them,
My
but the
God.
good,
good is
often
interred
with their bones.
So let it be.
So
with
let it be
Caesar.
with Caesar.
The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious, for it was so a grievous fault, and grievously had Caesar answered it.
All right.
Yes, Brutus was an
Yeah.
honorable man.
That comes
That's
up
the
next. He
best,
said,
yeah.
I come here under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. I just
Yeah. Okay.
I had to memorize that in 10th grade.
Me too. 10th grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I still remember most of it 8 years later.
I'm 9 years later.
9 years for you. Oh, making age jokes is hysterical.
Everybody else is like back to track. Come on.
Yeah. Let's get back on track, everybody. Here we go. Back to one. Hello to Jenny R. Johnson in the live chat. She's also a great artiste. That's French for artist. Okay. Let's get to the important stuff, because this is very important. Let's pull it up right now. It is Screen Rant. Oh, it's from our good buddy, John, don't call me John O. Orchiola.
Although I have to say, this
Good.
is from, I think, Saturday. And then there have been like 20 interviews since then, sort of building on this. So,
Mhm.
Wow.
yeah.
That is great. Let's see. So yeah, there are a couple of them. Actually, I'm seeing a couple from a few days ago, but yeah, another
So
one
if you
from
look at Trek
yesterday.
movies, they
Well,
read
hang
all
on
of them
one
for like
second.
5 days.
Oh, they're like a
And
collaboration
there's,
or
and they cite
Like
everybody's,
roundtable.
and like they did that thing that they do when they like get fan theories, but with all these interviews, because there's so many to keep track of.
Yeah.
okay.
There's a screen.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Screen Rant here. Terry Matalas breaks down the Star Trek Picard season 3 finale from John Orchiola, our good buddy. Everybody make sure to go check that out. We're going to do a quick jump through it. They mention Jack Crusher, of course, Ed Spaliers, The Borg Queen, played by Alice Krieger. Spoiler
Just the
there.
voice.
Hmm.
It was just the voice, wasn't it? It wasn't the body somebody
Yes.
else? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the lady they got looked just like her. It looked kind of like animatronics, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't list an actor in the costume, so I'm guessing that it's like either puppetry, animatronics.
No, it was an
some
it was an
kind of-
actress. There was something that told us the actress, and
Oh,
I looked her
really?
up, and she does look very much like her.
Oh,
And so, but she just mouthed the words. But she
Gotcha.
did look like animatronic to my eyes too. Like it
Yeah.
looked so good and so creepy and so weird. It reminded me of like back in the days where they would have like really creepy, weird, like
Yeah.
animatronic, zombies or whatever.
The
Or
old Chuck E.
queens.
Cheese's guy.
Yes,
Also,
that's what I was
Yes.
picturing. Those creeps.
or Jaws at Universal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
So real quick, let's Mohammed, if you could read a little bit
Sure.
of this part here. It's a little question and answer moment that is pretty poignant.
All right. So for this series, one of my complaints about Star Trek is the characters aren't used right. So what came first? Was it the actual structure of a whole season, or how to use each of their characters to fit their skill set? Terry Matalis replies, the story always comes first.
That's
But
what
we
they
wa-
always say.
Totally.
Well, we wanted to make sure every character had their due and then the finale. You didn't want to come walking away from the finale thinking that one character didn't have a great singular moment or contributed to saving the day. That would feel terrible. So that was one of the North Stars to how do we make sure each one of these characters has a goosebumps moment to help save the day. So that was part of breaking the story for sure. Back to John Orchiola. What is your biggest hope moving forward? Obviously, the ending suggests that there's a show or at least a movie here with Jerry Ryan and Ed Spaliers and gang.
Steelers, I love it.
I just edited it as I was going. I know there's probably nothing set, but what's your biggest hope? Terry Matalis replies, my current biggest hope is that everyone really just enjoys Picard season 3's finale, that we sent the next gen characters off in a really good way, and then everybody likes this next generation of characters. These last 2 hours were really, really hard to make, It's a giant movie on a television scale, and it almost killed me. So I just want everyone to really like this. Having said that, gosh, I would love to do more. I would love to see Seven and Rafi and Jack and Sydney and the crew continue on. And I'd love to see more of Riker and Geordi and Worf and Beverly and the rest of the TNG gang continue on in the 25th century. So we'll see. I think it'll be up to the fans to be loud if that's a thing they would like to see. But there's a lot of Star Trek out there right now. Great Star Trek. Strange New Worlds, Starfleet Academy is coming, Section 31. So we'd have to be something that would really be wanted by the fans to have.
Okay, so in other words, he's winking at us. He's like, so, if that's something you guys want, I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
competition out there, and they don't really need another new series because they got a bunch of good ones
Well,
going.
don't
So I
worry,
guess
that's going to be
if
covered
you
by
really
Trek
want
Movie.
it, if you really want it, I guess you'll have to be really loud about it and sign my change.org petition that I
Exactly.
made. My mom made.
Change.org petition I made.
So yeah, moving over to our good buddies at trekmovie.com to
Like
fill
them.
in the blanks
Well,
there.
because they got like the variety, there were some really good Collider ones. And yeah, basically
Great
like
amalgam.
these guys are doing interviews like 24/7 ever since this finale, with like roundtable interviews and exclusive interviews. So they're really working overtime, and it's just, I've never seen such a like breadth of news sources for covering one thing, which I think just speaks to the appeal of the broad appeal of TNG and now Picard. It's just amazing.
Well, hang on. This
see.
thing says Terry Matalis gives Star Trek Legacy update. Alex Kurtzman hears fans
Yes.
loud and clear.
And also SFX, which is like, they always get like such good exclusives. So
Yeah, I don't think the people in the live chat want any updates about Star Trek Legacy straight
okay,
from
let's move on.
straight
not
from the
big- they're not big
showrunner's
Trek
mouth.
fans.
I don't think.
You're right. But also, wait a minute, Tanya Mars is here. She's left
Hey,
the
Tanya.
treehouse.
Wow.
The Treehouse of Horrors.
Dr.
That's
Tanya
a
Henderson.
Simpsons reference. Tanya of Mars, welcome to the show. Thanks for playing with us last Friday. Calling it everybody. She called in from an actual treehouse. She spent the
That's so
weekend
cool.
in a treehouse, and the rest of us got stuck in regular houses.
But we had running water.
That's
This
true.
is true.
That was
closer to
awesome.
How
Mars.
did you fare, Tanya?
All right. So let's pull this thing back up. Very important and interesting. All right. So this is trekmovie.com, our good buddies over there. And it's entitled Terry Matalas gives Star Trek Legacy Update. Alex Kurtzman hears fans loud and clear. Seven says fun will now commence.
Yes.
That's what she said
Here
instead
it
of make it
That's
so.
what she said.
Yeah, that's what she should say. I was gonna, you know what I was thinking would be a good one for her is instead of like engage or make it so or whatever, she goes resist. I don't know. That just sounds fun.
Here's
Oh.
mine.
I like
Yes.
that. That's good.
Mine
Resistance
is
is
warp
futile.
X of 10.
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay, fine, yours.
That's too
4 of
hard for
10.
my brain to
I like
understand.
that.
I just
Warp
thought
7 of-
proceed. I could hear her say proceed because I feel like
Yeah.
she said that a lot in Voyager.
You did.
Proceed.
Actually, okay,
Comply.
I'm warming
Actually,
up to
comply
the
would be a good one too. 'Cause you know what I said?
yes.
That's
I'm
Ooh.
warming up
Comply.
to 7 of 10. Yeah. Warp 7 of 10, Ensign.
And it should
Comply.
pause and then be like, comply.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Worf goes, Kapla? And she's like, no, bro. Get back to the E.
Oh my God, it just writes itself.
I know.
Wow, we're ready.
Hey, we're available, Terry.
come on,
And
just-
Terry
come
right now
on.
that's watching is like, yeah, obviously you guys are available and not taken
There's
up
a
with
reason to be.
jobs. Obviously. Okay. Anyway. So here's
Then
how it
Picard
goes.
comes in and does a bit.
That's right. He can have his little joke moment.
Does a little comedy. Take it away for us, Dr. Noor.
Sure. Making room for a legacy? Even though the Picard finale set up what could be a spin-off series, Terry Matalas has made it clear in a number of interviews that there is no current development work happening on Star Trek Legacy. He outlined how the show would have to fit into a pretty full and expensive Star Trek slate for Paramount Plus, telling SFX magazine, quote, "These shows are expensive to make. They currently have 2 shows with Strange New Worlds and Starfleet Academy beginning production in 2024. And I think Paramount would have to financially justify a 3rd one. I think the way they look at it is that they're well stocked. So unless fans can convince them otherwise, that's certainly the point of view at the moment." I guess we should add, I think he's referring just to the live.
Do you know,
action
you
shows.
notice how he really sets the chessboard here. He keeps letting us know, look, and he's right. They're probably stocked. They're probably saying, hey, we have Starfleet Academy on the way. We have Discovery season 5 on the way, and fans are going to pay attention to this
Yeah.
in a big, big way
News about
because
that in
this
a
is a
moment.
final season, right? We've got Strange New Worlds that was critically acclaimed, which was loved in a big way as well. We've got 2 animated shows. We have Section 31 movie. Like, we are stocked. We have a second freezer. That's how stocked our current freezer is. And so that's why he keeps saying, look, that's the lay of the land. So it's not going to happen unless the fans get really loud. You notice how he keeps saying unless or if the fans really, so that's his way of, because he can't
Strange
tell.
New Worlds.
Yeah, he can't tell Paramount like, or he can't tell people go harass Paramount and let them know. He can't do that because then Paramount will be like, you'll never work with us again, punk. But he can say
Yeah, don't pull an Argyle.
Oh,
he can say they're busy, but unless the fans really want it, maybe,
Yeah.
So he's really laying it out for us.
I guess one thing for everybody to consider too is that, like, even for the Strange New Worlds thing, there was about a year, I think, between when Discovery season 2 had ended and when it was announced that there would be Strange New Worlds, and that's before they even did it. And look at Section 31. I mean, there was talk of Section 31 back in 2019, and we're now in 2023, and it's like maybe just getting off the ground. So just for people that love expectations, that it's not like there's anything that could happen where all of a sudden next year there's going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
That's a
we're
great
on,
point.
let's go.
Don't
It's
worry.
gonna be a
Like
ways
later
out.
in this article, they're going to compare some numbers.
Ooh,
It's really-
that's exciting.
I'm like really into these summary articles. They're so great.
Well, and this me not having any knowledge on the situation, but I do know
Same.
that a lot of times when there is a project that, you know, a company wants to do or a production company wants to do, like let's say they want to do a Bewitched reboot or something, right? So
I'm
let's say they want to
listening.
do something like that. They're not going to announce, we want to do a Bewitched reboot. Okay. What they have is they have people internally pitching scripts to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they know this is what we want to do, but we can't greenlight the project until we actually have a good product. Look at Star Trek 14, the movie that, you know, with Quentin Tarantino, they accidentally did that where they're like, okay, this is going to happen. And then they never really settled in
Mhm.
on a script. And so it's entirely possible that they're going to say, or they have said something to the effect of, we don't know, maybe we're interested. Give us a good pitch deck.
Mhm.
Give us a good pitch deck
And time.
get us something to look at, and we will review it, because they have to have the will to do it, but they also have to have a product that they're confident in.
Yeah.
And so the will might be there, but now they need the product. And sometimes that's just a matter of months. Sometimes, like with Section 31, it's a matter of years. Sometimes with the Quentin Tarantino, it's a matter of who freaking knows, never.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Well,
I can't
and
focus.
Terry Vitalis did give us multiple pitches at the end of the finale for Picard. He gave multiple pitches.
It was the
For
slider,
possible-
knuckleball, split finger.
Yeah.
Okay. But now
Good
that
point.
you mentioned Bewitched, my other favorite show, I can't even think. I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
Tabitha Stevens, Erin Murphy. I
You know what
followed
I
her,
was
and she
thinking?
would
I was thinking
totally
one of
be
you guys.
perfect.
I was thinking
Yeah.
one of you would say there is a Bewitched reboot. So there's like a reboot of freaking everything. So
Everything.
No, but they need to reboot it because
Well,
Tabitha
there's-
Stevens would be perfect to be the star of it.
There was that first episode of WandaVision, which was basically a Bewitched reboot.
you're right.
Mm.
Okay.
Does the Nicole Kidman movie count?
I don't know. What
I
is it?
bet.
Maybe
Bewitched.
hopefully they don't do like in Bewitched where they completely replace the actor for Darren. But like,
Oh, again.
Oh my gosh, that
With
would
two
be
dicks,
But
right?
hilarious.
it has to be
She had
named
two
Dick.
dicks, right?
Yes,
She
she
did.
did. She was,
Yep.
they were
She's
Klingons.
know.
Klingon.
we come
I
back
don't
and be like,
remember.
and here's Riker. You're like, that's not Riker. That's not Jonathan Frakes. Oh, yes, it
That's
is.
Jonathan
Yeah.
so and so.
It is now.
Okay. Okay. Sorry to derail.
That's okay. So let's jump back into what Talis said in a Cinema Blend.
Oh, this is our good
interview.
friend Mick Yost, I just have to say,
Oh, okay.
who did some amazing
Oh, great.
interviews.
We love that dude.
So Metalis talked to Cinema Blend about how the head of Star Trek for Paramount Plus has a plan for the franchise. And here's the quote. I think Alex Kurtzman has a plan for the Star Trek universe. I think he has to figure out how all these things play out, right? I don't think he wants to rush into anything. He's got two great live action shows happening right now, Strange New Worlds and Starfleet Academy, and the Section 31 movie. So, you know, they're pretty well stocked. At the same time, I think there is a demand for this. I would say the fans should be loud and tell the world
Said it
what they
again.
want. And maybe one day we'll be able to do it. The fans are heard, but they should keep doing their thing.
He's got a megaphone right now.
You
You know, one more thing to add to, you know, when they want to do something, but they need something to actually look at that's tangible. A lot of times what studios, production companies will do is they will hire a writer's room,
Yeah.
you know, a showrunner, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 writers, and they will hire them to map things out for a season, for example, to write out a Bible for the entire series, to write out a season, things like that. Not greenlighting it, just saying,
Right.
write it out. We will pay you your salary. We will pay for 6 weeks or 3 months or something. They'll meet full time. They will write out a season basically. And then the studio company will, you know, receive it. They'll read it. They've got their readers, you know, and they've got their people, and they'll look at it and they'll either green light that or they'll give notes. and then the writers will get back to work, and then, but it's, these, we're talking about multi-million dollar things. So they can't just, so no matter how much we want it and how much they want it, it's a business, and they still have to say, well, yes, you want it. Yes, we want it. Let's see if it's feasible. Let's work this out and figure it out. So even if it does take them, say, 2-3 years, and we don't know yet, don't worry. They're working through it, is my guess. I don't think they're saying no to it.
And if there was a legacy to include more like Deep Space Nine and Voyager in those storylines, I'm like, ooh, call Robert Hewitt Wolf and Lisa Klink. That's my dream team. Like, love them.
Guessing right now they wouldn't be trying to hire a writer's room. This wouldn't be the best time.
No, because the strike's about to happen.
Yeah, it's like let's hire a bunch of people. We're gonna go on strike like next week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like on that note, it's really fun on Twitter watching all the like, especially Strange New World writers are so, and like Dan Goodman from Enterprise. It's just really nice seeing them all like organized and fighting for what's right. Love those guys.
Dan Connor, played by John Goodman.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then they mentioned the interview with Variety.
David Goodman. Sorry. Yeah.
And they mentioned the Star Trek Legacy hashtag has only grown since the series finale, and a fan petition calling for the show is approaching 30,000. It's hyperlinked, so if you go to trekmovie.com, you can click on it and add your name to that list, and your mom's name and your dad's name. They won't know. I mean, your parents
actually
won't know.
signing
They
it
don't
themselves.
Check. Yeah, you can call and ask them too. Can I sign your name on this petition? And that's legit.
My dad calls like a few times a day, like, they need to make a spinoff. Show's so good.
Here's something interesting about that number, about the 30,000 petition. Maybe this is what you were referring to earlier, Anne-Marie. So approaching 30,000, which is the same level of support seen by the petition calling for a Captain Pike USS Enterprise show after the Discovery Season 2 finale in 2019. Are they hinting that they're like 30K?
Well, actually, they're up to 31.38 now.
Oh.
At 35,000, it becomes one of the top signed petitions on change.org.
Oh, yeah, Change always has those weird goal things.
So one final thing here about that with his interview with Collider, also on this article of trekmovie.com. Here we go.
Can we read? Sure. The season finale showed Captain 7 of 9 starting a new mission on the USS Enterprise G, the rechristened USS Titan. Speaking to Collider, Matalas said that is where he would want to pick things up in Star Trek Legacy. Here's his quote. I think I would want it right there with them. I think the idea of Captain 7, Jack Crusher, Rafi is number 1, the LaForge sisters, and Esmar and Mira. I would love to see the crew of that Enterprise out there as the next generation, mixed in with a lot of these legacy characters again, of course. I think that they've never been better and more interesting. Can we keep going?
Yeah, actually, this is relevant.
Sure. The finale also included a mid-credit scene featuring John Delancey as Q to have a quick chat with Jack Crusher. Terry Matalas spoke to Entertainment Weekly about the Q Jack scene and how it sets up Jack's story for the Legacy show, saying, quote, "Oh, yes, I do," when asked if he has a specific plan for the future of this character. Matalas told EW, "Jack's got a lot to do, let me tell you."
Oh, that's so freaking
How
cool.
great is it seeing Star Trek pop up on Entertainment Weekly regularly?
Yeah.
It's so 90s. What I hate it. Love it.
Yeah. New golden age. That is really cool and really interesting. I didn't notice the Entertainment Weekly connection. But there's one thing to consider, and people have mentioned this already, that they did not throw away the sets for the Titan Bridge and all that kind of stuff. They have very famously held on to these things, where in the past, for Next Generation or whatever, they're like, what's today? Thursday. When's the trash go out? Friday. All right, dump it, or whatever it was. They're like, let's get this thing out of here.
I'm sure they disassembled them though, right? They're probably not just sitting on a stage.
Hope so.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to do the Las Vegas thing, or you want to wait a little longer on that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a quick break from Picard. There is more Picard news, but everybody that goes to conventions or enjoys Star Trek convention news, Dr. Mohammed Noor's got a little something to tell you that it's pretty cool. While I pulled this up.
Sure. So I'm actually reading this from an email that went out from Las Vegas, from Star Trek Las Vegas, the Creation Entertainment's 57-year mission convention, to everybody. It says, today we are transmitting a query on all hailing frequencies to all life forms who are to converge upon the city of Las Vegas in the state of Nevada on planet Earth, dates August 3rd to 6th. During our convention, we would like to get a consensus on what on-stage panel groupings that you, the attendee, want to see. Please take a look at our guest list, which you can see online if you go to the website. And as great explorers that you are, always seeking out answers to burning questions, return your ideas to tell us, just one word, tell us, TELLUS, at creationent.com for creative panels that you've always wanted to see, but never had the opportunity. So that's it. They're basically giving us the opportunity to say, you know what? I want something like Melissa's Women of Star Trek panel that she did for Virtual TrekCon. So you could pick all those people plus Melissa to moderate, and have them all come up on stage. Now, the key is they said to make sure to pick people from the guest list. So don't pick,
right.
I want, Patrick Stewart. He's not on the guest list,
So something like that would be fun, because then you looking at the guest list will give you your ideas. And you could think, oh, wow, there's a lot of science officers, for example. I want a science officer panel with, Terry Farrell and Nikki DeBoer and, the guy that plays Mordok in The Next Generation, the Ben Zider, or whatever, get creative with it, have your fun. Yeah. The great news is the people at Creation, not only are they great people, they're great fans. So they will get it. You don't need to over-explain it to them. I would suggest, this is just me talking, keep it a quick and simple email, because they'll get it. They are huge fans of Star Trek, and they'll get it. Whatever idea you have, it'll click very quickly. So make it easy on them, I'd say.
Yeah, no, this is a great opportunity. Remember, there's like 91 guests on there, so make sure you look. It also has some people at the bottom. If you go down there, it has like some of the showrunners and folks like that too. So
great. All right. So, are you going to be at Star Trek Las Vegas?
Asking me,
Mohammed? Yeah.
Yep, I'm there.
What kind of panels do you have going?
I actually don't know yet. I've offered a few and I haven't heard back. So I mean, if people have suggestions, they can. I guess they can email Creation. That'd be weird. I guess they could just email me.
Oh, I'm actually going to recommend Mohammed and everybody. Yeah.
I mean, all 91
I want
people.
it all. Yes. And Mohammed, you're going to be busy.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the 91. I think I was number 56 or something. I was like just before Todd Stashwick, I think.
Yeah, you were on a good screenshot.
Just checking something out
Sure,
here.
sure.
All right. So what's next? The next thing is a little bit more Picard news, which is Ed Spaliers is in the news. Well, we were just talking about him.
Yeah.
Oh, right. He was just announced, today. Was it today?
STLV.
Today. Just today.
It's
literally as we came online, when the
autographs.
email came out. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
I'm just so excited. I love Downton Abbey so much.
Here's a fun thing to mention on that topic. Everybody at home, you know who else will be at Star Trek Las Vegas? Well, all four of us. That's for damn sure.
Lisa and I are sharing a table. Yay.
Yeah.
Sounds like lunch. And
I'll
also,
lunch
I'll tell you also who else is going to be there. Sirach Lofton and Denise Crosby.
Woohoo.
So those
And
are
Jenny R. Johnson. It's her first Trek convention.
about damn
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I was getting pissed.
Woohoo.
All right. So we're all going to be here. The whole family. I hope Shar goes. Meteorologist Katie, Scott Baker, all of our good pals.
Eve
Should be
England
great.
from
Eve
out
England
yeah.
out in
Yes.
Wales.
She's
supposed to
Eve
come.
England out in Vegas.
So
Yeah.
excited.
Out in
Yes.
Vegas.
Does that mean she'll have to change her last name?
What's that?
Eve Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm.
I don't know anything.
Eve
All right.
Wales out in Vegas.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. So this next one, we'll pull that up. very quickly. It is from our good pals at
Yeah.
/film.com. Star Trek Picard's Ed Speleers auditioned for a different Star Trek role.
Okay. I just have to say, I'm such a nerd for finding out who auditions for what before they get what role. I think that's so fascinating. So I love this.
Can we read?
Yeah, please.
Sure. As Jack Crusher, the son of Beverly Crusher, Gates McFadden, and the clandestine son of Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, stakes are high for franchise newcomer Ed Speleers. Introduced in the third season of Star Trek Picard, the revelation that Picard had a son throws the next generation captain into emotional turmoil alongside a collision with major enemies. I almost read that as enemas. Major enemies in season 3.
Maybe both.
All centering around
it's from the
sun.
aliens.
Oh God. All centering around the son he never knew. The rich emotional backstory he adds to two of the franchise's greatest characters makes Speleers' Jack Crusher automatically part of a distinguished Trek legacy. You know, it would be a cool panel along those lines. Would be something about like forgotten
Yes.
or poorly treated sons. So they could have like him and Alexander. And
Oh, I was thinking like people who auditioned for one and got another.
Oh, that too. That too.
Or how about just the sons of Star Trek?
It's just the sons. You get Siraki in, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be like, oh, sorry, you guys had deadbeat dads. Mine was great.
That's right. I had the best dad. That'd be funny.
Mine was the freaking emissary. What's up?
Single dad who took care of me so well.
Oh, he's the best. Let us continue, shall we?
Sure.
Here it is. There you go.
In an interview with SFX magazine, I'm laughing at the title on the next part. In an interview with SFX magazine, Speleers reveals he once eyed for an entirely different role in a different series before landing the role of Jack Crusher. That audition may have not gone the way Speleers had hoped, but clearly he nonetheless found a meaty point of entry into the future of Trek. While he can't reveal exactly who he'd have been playing following that other audition, it may have brought him one step closer to the captain's chair. Possibly as Captain James T. Kirk himself.
Yeah, hang on a second.
I could totally.
I wouldn't
see
be
that.
surprised if he auditioned to be Captain Kirk in Strange New Worlds. Look at him.
I wouldn't be surprised at that. Yeah, I would be surprised.
He could
Exactly.
definitely looks
has
like
the
a Kirk.
swag.
Yeah.
You know,
I bet you that's what it was.
He's by the way,
These guys are hinting it.
interviewed in the most recent Investigates podcast from Gates McFadden.
Oh, cool.
The most recent one that just dropped is an interview with Ed Speleers.
Produced by Nacelle Company, our friend Brian Volkos.
Yeah.
I love those guys so much.
He can't say for certain who the role was, but
But
Speleers' original audition for the Star Trek universe didn't go entirely as planned. Whoop.
Oh my God, I'm getting seasick.
Yeah, right. As he revealed
No,
in the
it's
interview,
fine.
quote, initially I was actually, okay, come on. Initially I was asked to go up for a different part in a different Trek series, he said. I think it was Strange New Worlds. I like that I think it was. At the time, it didn't end up going his way. Quote, I did a tape and nothing came of it, he said. I was a bit disgruntled, if I remember correctly. The audition involved dialogue excerpts referred to as sides, which are often fake and written specifically for auditioning purposes. So he couldn't fully know what role he was actually auditioning for at the time. But Speleers has a hypothesis, and it would have been a pretty important role in Trek history. This would be completely hazarding a guess, he said. But I'm assuming, based on what I've seen of Strange New Worlds, that it's the Kirk character of Paul Wesley played. There you go. Stepping into Kirk's shoes would certainly have been a notch up in the Star Trek chain of command, were that indeed the role that got away. Quote, maybe I'm backing myself too much there, but I feel that that's right, judging by the sides that I had at the time, he clarified. Putting the exact
that's really
role,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that Dane Yoshida says he's like if Kirk and Picard had a baby. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair.
I also it was cool that he said in some interviews too that he would love to play Jack Crusher for like 25 more years, which I'm like, yeah, do it. Someone hire this guy.
Yeah.
Paramount is someone.
You did a great job. Be happy to see him come back in more Trek.
Oh my gosh. I very rarely have I ever seen a scene where I'm like, oh my God, I need this to be a show like immediately. It looks amazing.
More than Strange New Worlds.
it just got me from the jump. Strange New Worlds, I had to like actually see like that first episode to really fall in love with it. This like everybody sparks so hard.
Yeah. We haven't done any polls today. I just noticed as you're typing.
Oh, right on cue. We've got a new poll in the live chat that I was just putting down. I guess Muhammad knew his cue because I was doing poll face. The question is, which was your favorite Picard season? 1, 2, or 3?
Look at those votes. Oh my God.
A lot of people were saying that Star Trek Picard season 3 felt to them a lot like The Next Generation season 8. And I definitely echo that sentiment. It did feel like, it felt like a 20-year gap and then season 8, you know, or like a sequel movie that just happened.
So there's hope
really
for
long.
Enterprise.
The first episode was even called The Next
that.
Generation, right? I mean, the first episode of the series, of the season, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Wow, that poll, man, that's crazy.
So remember, everybody, you have 3 options.
They seem to have not noticed 2 of them.
2, and 3. There are 3 options in this poll. Season 1, where remember it opens up with Data and Picard, and they're having this beautiful moment together. And
I kind of want to say 1 also, because like 1 brought it back, and that was just like such a gift that I never thought would ever in a million years happen. And then also like me and my parents were on StarTrek.com for our picture in front of like the Picard Delta, which was super special. But I agree with Jenny Johnson that 1 and 2 are also wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. It is just asking favorites. It's not asking like what's the relative quality. I mean, maybe one of them is phenomenal and the other 2 are awesome.
I mean, what I always hate about the last season of something is that it's the last season and then we have to leave them.
Shout out to Star Trek Discovery that will be giving us these kinds of emotional feels in about a year. We're going to be like, wow, this has been a part of our lives for 7 years. And we've been hearing about it for 8 years. Yeah. They were
back our friends.
And kudos to them for going back. So, I mean, you guys saw that like this week they're over in Toronto filming something to actually make it seal off completely instead of just having just this abrupt ending as some series in the past have had. Not Star Trek series usually, but just
Seal Off was actually the name of the character that Denise Crosby came back to play the Romulan, but when it was overdubbed in Russian.
Oh, seal off.
Oh my god.
That was a lot of work to get to that one.
I'm amazed that they could do it so quickly too. I think they're only there this week. I mean, we saw Michelle Paradise tweeted I think on Sunday that she was flying out, and they said everything's ending at the end of April. Like, wow. So they're just like, they're going like, we're going to do this hard and fast.
Yeah. Well, if only we had an article.
Oh yeah.
From nerdgasm.net, because nerdgasm.com was already taken. And nerdgasm.org. I want a nerdgasm.org. That's legit. Make it
my
like
favorite branch of the government.
Yeah, that's or .edu. I want a nerdgasm.edu. That's the key. Anyway, it's entitled Star Trek Discovery Season 5 Reshoots Taking Place. So it's happening right now. This has got to be some kind of Canadian thing because it's got the 22 first, 22, 4, 20. This is confusing. Do Canadians do it that way or just the British and the Europeans?
Actually makes more sense in general. Right?
I know, but don't tell them that.
I don't know. I feel like it helps me organize in my mind, like biggest to smallest.
Yeah.
Well, because that's how we say it. We say May 22nd, 2023. We don't say 22 May 23. If we did that,
I don't care about the date until I know what the month is. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Anne Marie teaching us about dates. They're delicious. All right.
Oh my god! I was just eating some with cream cheese. It's like my favorite combo.
Medjool dates are the big crunchy kind.
Medjool.
Oh, okay.
Aren't those Egyptian or North African?
Yeah, dates are. I mean, some of them are. I mean, they have some nice ones in Egypt that are like crunchy and stuff. It's not this like mushy ones that you hear. They're good.
What's that, Muhammad? You would know. My mom used to always make this for me, being that she grew up in Morocco. It's a dessert. There are very few ingredients. It's just like flour, dates, sugar. You cook it in the oven, and then you just kind of slice it into little nugs.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. The
Little
name.
tasty nugs. So
Yeah.
freaking good.
Sounds
Butter.
like
I
it
think
needs
butter is
cream
maybe the
cheese.
fourth ingredient. No. Nope.
You don't know what you're missing.
It's interesting to say about couscous. You might be thinking about that. All right, that's not the answer to your thing, but like some people
I think
make
couscous is in it. Yeah.
Yeah, some people make couscous
Absolutely.
sweet instead. 'Cause I mean, usually here when you get couscous, it's like it's more like rice or whatever. But they often make it they're like sweet with like sugar and stuff like mixed in.
Like cream of wheat or
like
whatever.
a rice pudding.
Yeah, like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
But
could
not as
add
mushy.
like cinnamon and raisins, things like that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mhm.
All right, everybody at home, tell us what your favorite couscous is. Like, do you have a specific flavor? If you buy couscous in the store, do you get like the
Near
pine
East
nuts
boxes.
one?
Oh yeah.
Do you get Mid-East boxes, right?
Near East.
Pine nuts is a great one.
Pine nuts is a great one. I like that one.
Or do you make your own couscous? My mom makes the couscous ragu. It's nuts. She just like goes crazy. I'm like, is there even any couscous in here? She just throws so many vegetables and broth in there, and we just go in with a snorkel. It's so good. Hungry.
Or the couscous and chill.
Amory's like, I tuned out 5 minutes ago. Oh, let's see if anybody in the live chat knows any of that dessert. I'll text my mom, see if we can get an answer for that. Okay.
Let's bring her on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, so just
That
roses
doesn't
is
seem
my
like-
grandmother used to
The
make
world's
those.
not
We
ready
just
for
call them
that.
dates and flour.
Yeah.
Dates and flour. You do bring flowers to dates, so maybe there's something there. Okay. So here is the article that we were talking about here, the Nerdgasm article. And it goes a little something like this. Dr. Noor, if you will.
Sure. Last month, Paramount Plus confirmed Star Trek Discovery Season 5 will be the last of the series. No. Additionally, the fifth and final season has been pushed to early 2024. Therefore, it will debut later than expected. Nerdgasm has now learned that reshoots are due to take place for Discovery's fifth and final season. Originally, The Hollywood Reporter and Vanity confirmed additional filming would happen. Originally announced in November 2015, the series debuted in 2017 on CBS All Access, the former brand name of Paramount Plus. You have to scroll down for me.
Just texting my mom, sorry.
Star Trek Discovery Season 5 will briefly return to production on April 24th, 2023. It will then conclude on April 26th, 2023. So there you go, 3 days total. Therefore, this is likely reshoots for the fifth and final season of the Paramount Plus show. Given the announcement of the series end, it may be the case of shooting scenes to send the show off properly. Star Trek Discovery is credited with launching the new era of Star Trek. Therefore, it would make sense for Paramount Plus and the creatives to send off the show properly. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the one person schedule I know is Anthony Rapp because he's in an off-Broadway show. So I looked up the dates and times for the off-Broadway show this week.
Ooh,
I know
dates.
starting tonight, he's off for 48 hours. So I'm like, ooh.
There's
40
the
or
answer.
48 hours. So I'm like, ooh, that's interesting.
You want to keep reading?
also, he's
we
always
hit the
off.
punchline
Please.
already.
Yeah.
Keep reading?
Yeah,
Or
please.
sorry, starting last night. But yeah. Okay.
Director Tunde Osun-Sanmi is expected to return to oversee the additional filming. However, there is no current indication of what cast members will return besides Anne-Marie's knowledge. Series lead Sonequa Martin Green, who plays Captain Michael Burnham, would be the most expected. The upcoming fifth season of Star Trek Discovery will again follow Captain Michael Burnham. However, the crew of the Discovery will be working to uncover a mystery that will send them on an adventure across the galaxy. It's teased that the mystery will have something to do with an ancient power. Actor Callum Keith Rennie joins season 5 as Captain Rayner.
Okay,
And
so
8 episodes.
are we
Wow.
reading this correctly? They only have 3 shoot dates in total.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's really
They are
bad.
so hamstrung. Oh, that's rough. That is going to be really hard to create.
Long nights.
because
Long
like
days.
a final season, the way everything is so serialized nowadays, you're not just writing a final episode. That
Right.
final season, in a final season of a series, they plant seeds of that finality throughout each episode, from episode 1. Like, for example, Star Trek Picard season 3, they knew it was the final season. So that from episode 1 of season 3 all the way through the 10th one, there was a growth there. There were the seeds that they planted all going in a line. If they did not know that season 3 of Picard was the final season, we'd have a very different season, because they'd be opening up stories rather than closing them. And so I really feel for the writers at Discovery, because no matter what they can try to come up with to shoot in 3 days, you know that if you ask them, hey, had you known season 5 was going to be your last season, would you have done anything differently? And they'll have of course, a giant list. And it's a real shame. It's really too bad. I also feel bad for the actors and the people that are part of the crew, because I just worry that it's not going to reflect what great writers they are, that it's going to be really tough for them to come up with such a great closing season and closing episode to, really close out this landmark show.
Is it an episode, or is it like an addendum to the finale?
Well, see, that's what I was thinking, because I was thinking, like, imagine season 4 is ending. And let's say that something had happened with season 4. They said, all right, we're cutting it off here. Really, it feels like the only thing they would have had to have changed was books going away. Like the rest of it was actually pretty something like that would have been a reasonable series finale if it wasn't for the whole book going away thing, because that seemed like something where that was a loose end.
But see, the story closes, but you also want character relationship closure.
Right.
So they would certainly be, I get what you're saying, and I agree, but they would have also added, like, for example, what if they always planned for Michael Burnham and Book to get married, for example? Let's say that was the thing, or to have a kid. Now they're like, shit, we can't do that. Or we could try to cram it in somewhere at the end, or, it gets really rushed.
Yeah.
It's just too bad. I have confidence they'll do it the best that anybody else could.
Tarina and Saru to have a kid. Yeah.
That would be a weird looking ass kid, man.
Adorable.
With really like long ears that are like hang out like limbs or something. Like Dolby.
Would it have the threat ganglia?
I was wondering.
Good.
But yeah, I think I agree with Mohammed. Like, Discovery, more than any of the other shows, I feel like really their seasons always end where it feels
absolutely
wrapped up, and they do end their character arcs for the season pretty well. It's just if they had in mind where they really wanted to show.
When they finally finish Discovery and season 5 ends and we're gonna wrap it up, we should call it the Anthony wrap. That'll be fun.
That is fun.
I was thinking back to season 3. I don't know that there was any. I mean, I guess the one loose end there was how mad that what's his name was, Anthony Rapp's character, Stamets. Yeah, how mad he was with Burnham. But that was kind of really the only loose end there too. But I mean, otherwise, it would have been like, again, it would have been a decent series finale. It's like, and now we're off, and now Burnham's captain. Yay!
Let's finish this up. Linda Anderegg says, dates and figs. She gets it.
Yeah.
Do love them figs. Oh, and everybody in the live chat, there were a lot of votes, but only 2% found the season 1 button. Only 7% found the season 2 button, and 92% of you said, "Come on, it's season 3. It's got all the tears and all the laughs. That's what we like."
It's become just a lot of talk about your mom, and maybe she should come on
you
Star
watch
Trek
your
and chill
mouth,
and
you
just
watch your
share
damn
recipes.
Anyway, Star Trek and chill recipes. So
Mama Husk.
where were we?
That's what people are calling for.
Okay, so let's close this out right here. Mohammed, if you will. Oh, wait. Makhut, she says. Makhut, that's what it is.
Oh, I don't know that.
Everybody look up Makhut. I'll put it in the live chat. Thanks, Mom,
Macaroons?
No, although those are great too.
They are.
Everybody look up Makhut. Anyway, those are really good. Mohammed, if you will, let me get us back on track. Sorry, we just talked about dates for 45 minutes, it seems like.
That's
all right.
that's always what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Dates.
Star Trek's new future. Star Trek Discovery brought record subscriptions for CBS All Access. It also became the most viewed original series on both All Access and the successor Paramount Plus. Additionally, the series began an expansion of the Star Trek franchise and collected numerous accolades, including Primetime Emmy Awards. While the original premise was maybe criticized, Discovery found a new home in its 32nd century setting with the arrival of the third season in 2020. The Star Trek universe is expanding. Paramount Plus has recently announced that Michelle Yeoh will return to front a Star Trek Section 31 movie. Additionally, the Starfleet Academy series is going ahead and is expected in 2025. Finally, The Strange New World Season 2 will arrive on Paramount Plus on June 15th. 2023, around the corner.
Here's a great comment in the live chat. Katie says maybe Mohammed Noor can guest star in the finale.
Oh, yes.
And all the behind the scenes people get uniforms.
I wish. No. I mean, I'm here right now and this filming's going, so
I don't know. We don't know what your real background looks like.
That's true.
You might be in one of those really bright kitchens like Doug Jones when he's there.
There you go. Yeah, no.
Or just to sit on the floor.
That's very sweet of you though, Katie. Thank you.
I'm
The
looking at my
desserts kind of look
on my
like
phone
Vic
right now.
Newtons.
Yum. Oh, I'm getting a
Can
call.
we do the trivia question? Let me look that
Who's
up.
calling?
Kaiser Permanente.
Oh, great.
But look how good these look. Yum. Yeah, Mohammed, it's also spelled Makarudh, Roudh as well. A couple different spellings. Anyway, looking at them, they look so good. Kind of look like fig bars a little bit in a way.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Melissa,
She gets it.
trivia question?
Hell yes.
All right. Well, speaking of legacy, or Star Trek Legacy, there's a TNG episode called Legacy in the 4th season. In that episode, what did Ishara Yar, not Tasha Yar, Ishara Yar first assume Data's role was on the ship?
That's so funny. I just texted Sirach Lofton a picture of Ishara Yar next to Data just today, like 2 or 3 hours ago, because I mentioned something about her sister or something like that. So I sent, that's so funny.
Yeah,
what a coincidence.
So I'll read the question again. Speaking of legacy, there's a TNG episode called Legacy in the 4th season. In the episode Legacy, what did Ishara Yar first assume Data's role was on the ship?
While you're all thinking of that, everybody,
I've been writing mochi. I don't think that was the answer.
a couple other very quick items. One is on collider.com. Here's your homework. Will Wheaton explains why Wesley can't visit the Crushers. So check that out, collider.com. That's a great article about Will Wheaton and, just kind of his thoughts on the situation. And another great article, and you may have heard about this one, of course, everybody. This is trekcore.com. This is also a very important one. There be Klingons. Klingons return in new Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 teaser trailer. You've all seen it. If you haven't, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, it's a great
big news. Looks cool. Forehead ridge. It looks very much like the 90s Klingons and 80s. Forehead ridges look a little different, but hey, clearly Klingons look different in different parts of the world, different parts of their world.
This one didn't have the augment virus.
Right, exactly. So check that out. That is trekcore.com.
What I loved about the 90s is when like the ones that are related, the ridges, like shapes are like similar. These all seem pretty uniform, but I'm not complaining. It's nice to have
a very pretty uniform. All right. So let's talk about good knowledge. Let's talk about the week.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the 7th Rule YouTube channel, we released our full review of Deep Space. Sorry, that's an old habit. Dies hard. The Next Generation. I've seriously caught myself every single week almost saying Deep Space Nine when I say that, and when we're recording. The Next Generation, season 1, episode 13, Angel 1, also known as Amory.
Angeloni, as Darren Doctorman calls it. Correct.
Shout out to Darren Doctorman, the genius.
Glorious
Our
Texas.
special guest is Leonard Crowfoot, of course, who has a beautiful, amazing story of triumph. It's very inspirational. It brought Denise Crosby to tears. And a lot of us were very moved by it. It really did. So go check that out. You've got to see it. It is our review of Angel 1, aka Angeloni, on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. Then on the Falling Tower YouTube channel, this is on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got our review of, finally, The Last of Us on HBO Max with writer, producer, director Neil Patrick Stevens joining us. And Muhammad and I, with Neil, talk about Last of Us. Did we like it? Did we love it? Do we want some more of it? You'll have to check it out. That is tomorrow, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Falling Tower YouTube channel. Then on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when we usually have our reviews of new Star Trek episodes. Since new Star Trek is over, we still have one more goodie for you. We recorded a roundtable wrap up for the entire series of Star Trek Picard, in which we all picked out a few things that we enjoyed the most in the series. So that'll be on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It is closing the book on Star Trek Picard. Then right here on the Virtual TrekCon YouTube channel, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it is Star Trek and Muhammad knows. Chill. Star Trek and chill. Wait.
There you go. Oh yeah, that's good. I like that. That's the symbol for the show now.
Yeah. Star Trek and chill. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is live, just like this is. And you know, we talk Star Trek, we chill, whatever.
You have to bring a drink.
Lastly,
it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
Lastly, on Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Denise Crosby, myself.
Can I just give a little shout out really fast about the roundtables?
Yeah.
So it's an amazing perk. You get to be on these roundtables with Sirach Lofton, sometimes other Star Trek guests. So the way you find out about them
Denise
is going
Crosby.
to the Seventh Rule on Patreon, and it's an amazing. Oh, I froze. If you go to the
you didn't freeze. You're
Patreon
good.
Rule, and it's actually like a total bargain, and the cheapest I've seen of anywhere you can actually Zoom with Star Trek actors. It's very fun, so make sure you check it out.
Much cheaper than Cameo.
Good point. Very good point. So that was too much chill. That's what made Anne-Marie think she froze. So Sunday on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, Denise, myself, Sirach will be reviewing The Next Generation Coming of Age with a very special guest. We'll just say a very special guest. And you are going to love
I'm so excited
this person because this is a very memorable character for me. In my childhood, okay. I may or may not have gotten the action figure.
And he may or may not be the son of TV royalty.
Oh.
Ooh. So we'll find out all about that and check that out. That is Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. Dr. Noor, let's end this suspense. What's the answer?
The correct answer is, quote, built for fighting. That was what she asked, built for fighting. So I saw there were a lot of Tasha Yar references from The Naked Now. That was not the right answer about the assumption of data. I don't think they'd have that person greet the guest coming on the Enterprise. But yeah, there were some other people who said something like warrior, like those of you who said warrior. I think just Rosie, maybe a couple others also said it. So kudos to you guys. Yeah. Built for fighting was what she said.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Good job.
All right. Matt Boardman says it's worth every penny. It's a lot of pennies if that's how you want to pay, but it's worth all of them. We also take just
how I met you guys.
Thanks, Matt. And he also says becoming a part of the Seventh Rule Patreon changed my life. It changed ours
Same.
too, by the
Same.
way.
Same.
The thumbnail graphic that we have on this video was made by Matt Boardman. He's a whiz, and we really appreciate his help and his sense of humor.
Yeah, he's cool.
He is cool.
That's it. Melissa Longo, where can everybody find you online and your shirts?
Oh, at Melissa Longo, Malissa, on social media, and the introvertedrepublic.com. And you can find Walking Art Made by Melissa. So much is happening there that it's happening slowly, but it's happening. And also check out Star Trek and Chill, Ryan's store. Yeah.
Thanks. You can find that at the link below in the description box, Star Trek and Chill. You could get a shirt just like Melissa's. Can't promise it'll look as good as on Melissa, but it'll look great anyway. And you can get shirts like the one I'm wearing and the one Muhammad's wearing at theintrovertedrepublic.org. No, .edu.
.gov. No.
It's .com, everybody knows. Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, where can everybody find you online?
At Anne-Marie Siegel 1 on Twitter.
All right. You can also find her in the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. You can also find her on the Seventh Rule Facebook group. That's where she's the most active. She's like a wild cat in there.
The party is.
So, and everybody, you can find me on Twitter at RyanTGHusk. That is at RyanTGHusk, or Falling Tower, the Seventh Rule, or Virtual TrekCon on your favorite social media, provided it's social media that we're on.
Oh,
and also,
you know what I have
of
to
course,
give a
on
little
YouTube.
shout out to? In New York, I know we're very New York. I'm very New York centric, but if you are in the New York City away team, NYC away team Facebook group, and if you're in the area, there are some fun away missions this week to one of my who's directing Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirates of Penzance. So they're doing away missions there because it's like heavily featured in Star Trek. And there's some really hilarious posts about whether to wear uniforms or get surgical alterations to look human. So if you're bored and in the New York area, make sure to check that out. It'll be fun.
Also, Dr. Noor, yeah, we didn't mention yours. Does it have an M, an A, or an F in it?
It does. I was actually going to joke and say Ryan T.G. Husk, but you went first. So I was like, oh, I can't do that now.
I stole your thunder.
That's okay. It's at Mafnoor, M-A-F like Frank, N like November, O-O-R, or on YouTube as Biotrekkie, B-I-O-T-R-E-K-K-I-E. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Colin's making a joke. He says, like Melissa's personal wardrobe, Ryan. I think that's in reference to me saying, where can they find you or your shirts? They're like in her closet. All right, everybody. Thanks for the fun. Thanks for laughing at our dumb jokes. Thanks for adding some of your own dumb jokes. We love it. It's been a great time. We will see you soon. And hey, when you want dumb jokes, it's at Anne-Marie Siegel 1. No, I'm just kidding.
It's true. That's true.
No, okay. But if you want to talk about Picard or anything related to Star Trek or any kind of science fiction, put it on the main viewer. You'll be glad you did.